Alright, hello everyone and welcome to this NRL PlayStation Tier 2 stream of round 5, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We're here for round 5, of course. Last week was the sprint race at Imola. Unfortunately I couldn't stream that one, but I'm back in the commentary box for tonight and looking forward to it, so hopefully it is a good one here, as usual. But currently MSBR5 is on a lap here in the AlphaTauri, so let's see what he can do on his lap. He crossed the line, he takes provisional pole with a 1:23.964, pin him into P1 for AlphaTauri. A good job by MSBR5 there. As he's now top of the leaderboards, but next to cross the line will be Jayville, who's already taken a few race wins this season. Unfortunately, he has to pull into the pit lane as he must have made a mistake in the final sector. But Gareth Mini Mad, who of course took pole position in round 1 at Australia, hasn't had much else going in terms of pole positions through the other 4 opening rounds, but he is purple here through sector 2, so let's see what he can do on the remainder of this lap and whether he can move himself up into the top 5. He's currently sitting in P9 with a 25.323, but unfortunately for him, he just invalidates there, and newly modified turns, newly modified Sec 3 just ran a bit too wide and ended up invalidating. Tiger Assassin, who we saw take a podium in Spain, also took the podium last week out in Imola, which was not streamed. He's now on a lap, so let's see what he can do on the remainder of this lap and whether he can challenge the top 5 in front of him. Only 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in qualifying now, so I expect to see quite a few drivers start to trickle out as we get into the latter part of the session. Y69 BRT for Ferrari here, just leaving the first sector, starting the second sector, and let's see if Tiger Assassin can keep it within track limits in this new turn, sector 3, where he saw Gareth the Mini Mad run it wide and invalidates that. Tiger keeps it nicely within track limits now as he heads to the final two corners. The penultimate corner pretty much flat out now before hard braking down to 4th for the first corner before short shifting to get the best one to line, and it's a 24.4 for Tiger Assassin, moves him up into P5, and unfortunately not good enough to put him any higher. Meanwhile, Y69 BRT in the Ferrari, the special livery, which they ran at Monza, is currently in P7, and he's about 4 tenths up on his lap so far, now coming through the penultimate turn and into the final corner. Misses the apex a tiny bit, but picks up no rotation through the corner and moves himself up into P4, replacing Tiger Assassin in the top 5 with 24.3 for the Ferrari boy. A very nice lap. Next across the line will be Prems. Unfortunately, he's down in his lap by 1.1 seconds, so maybe he's backing off and going for another lap. We'll have to wait and see. But Burglar 78 was on a lap, but he's unfortunately, looks like he's spun and he's damaged his wing, so Burglar will start no higher than P2 in today's qualifying session, and that is not what he would have hoped for going into this race weekend. But anyways, I believe the session is now, oh no, it's not over. I thought the session was over, but we still have quite a bit of time to go still. Soho TZ is starting his lap now for AlphaTauri. Let's see what he can do. Berger's retired from the session. He cannot do anymore. Y69 BRT tried to go again on these tyres, but he's just not finding the improvement he needs. Veterans marginally down on his sector 1, so is Sahib TZ. MSBR5 has invalidated on his lap, so he cannot improve on his current provisional pole lap time. Gareth Miniman, let's see what his first sector. Oh, we've actually missed it. So Javille's the closest car to line, of course, excluding. Well, we also have to count in Prem. So MSBR5, this session is done. He will not be improving. The top two cannot improve on their laps here. Javille has spun round, and the man has taken 2 race wins already this season. Cannot take a third, but Veteran is purple through the second sector, so let's see what he can do. He's right behind Soho TZ, who's also in the fight for pole, and they're going to get a bit of traffic of Javille through the final sector, both of them keeping it nicely within track limits. You can see the time the Veteran is gaining on the car in front. This is a really nice lap time from the Finnish driver. Kieran has unfortunately left the session. So how TZ wide through the final corner, doesn't improve. Veteran improves to 24.084, but it's not enough to get pole position. Misses out by less than a tenth of a second. Can Gareth Miniman do anything about standings at the moment? He can move up into P9, but unfortunately that is the best he can do. Gareth Miniman will start from P9 in this race. And it is MLSBR5 who's taken pole here, ahead of Berger and Veteran, who rounds out the top 3. Nice qualifying from these 3 guys. As we're now heading towards the start of the race, and I'll just run you through the qualifying results here. And we go to the qualifying results screen. So it's MSBR5 on pole position, 23.9 there, putting him on pole. Berger's in P2 for McLaren, only 9 thousandths off MSBR5. Then Veteran won about a tenth back. Sohab TZ in P4 for AlphaTauri. P5 is Weissman BR2 of Ferrari. Tiger Assassin in P6 for Aston Martin. P7 for Nathan van der Burg. Javille 17 in P8. P9 for Gareth Minimad of Williams. Prem starts in P10. 11th for Sam Burke. And Carlos starts in P12. And Kieran will start 13th and last, unfortunately, in this qualifying session. Unfortunately, I am in the race weekend. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, well, here are the predicted strategies. It's obviously going to be dry, which was kind of expected. So here are the strategies for today's race. So one stop looks like the preferred option from mediums to hards. I am going to retire the car, and I'll retire on lap 1 in the pit lane, and hopefully I can catch some of the action as well. But I'm on controller, so it's going to be interesting. We've got a few cars in front who seem to be lagged out of the session, but I'll just go AI mode and let the AI deal with the formation lap, and then I shall retire on lap 1 in the pit lane, of course, because retiring on track can sometimes cause Retiring on track can sometimes cause safety cars, which we wouldn't want on lap 1. As we are now going to the race start.
Okay, that's not an ideal placement in your grid slot.
I'm just gonna hang back on this this start here, and then retire in the pit lane, hopefully not get in the way of anyone. So witnessing the start from on track, it looks like Burgers managed to get the jump in towards someone. I'm on controller, so excuse this awful driving. As we now head through this turn 2 and 3 on the racetrack, and it looks like that is a Mercedes going slow through. Oh, okay. I shall let the AI deal with that. Oh, fantastic. Okay, I'll let the AI get to this the pit lane, and then I'll retire the car. Okay, so the AI is finally in the pit lane, and now I retire the car. Okay, so now on with the race action. MLS BR5 leads the way ahead of Burglar, and that is Javel going down the inside of Gareth Minimad here into the hairpin, trying to get past Sohab TZ. He's the only person on the grid to start on the hard compound tyres. Can Javel go around the outside here into the heavily modified and Javel gets a bit of a tap from Sohab TZ there, and that's actually causing to lose position. Now Gareth's getting all out of shape. Now here comes Nathan V. DeBert on the outside of Gareth, and Javel back down the inside of Gareth. It's all kicking off here in the midfield, and Gareth's going to be looking for the switchback, and Javel, can he get it? No, he cannot. He gets tapped, and luckily for him, doesn't get collected by Sam Burke. Prems opportunistically gets past Carlos and Gareth. Gareth is all over the place here. It's nearly put it into the wall again there, and Prem's now into the pit lane, so it looks like he might have picked up some damage on the opening lap, but MLSBR5 has had an ideal start. The gap out front is already 1 second. He's out of the DRS range. This is exactly what we need to do, and Burglar 78 has not got a lot of ERS, so Tiger Assassin might be looking for a move on the German here, as behind Sohai TZ is going very Weiss9 BRT is going very defensive from Sohai TZ, who's in this slipstream, but could also be under pressure from Nathan Wiedeberg as he runs very wide there and cuts the corner to keep the track position. So now surely he will have to concede the position to Nathan Wiedeberg, and he does. Nathan making it around the outside, and in the process also setting the new fastest lap of the race. A nice overtake from the Alfa Romeo driver, who now moves up into the top 5, and Jayville will be the next driver looking to get past the AlphaTauri, who's currently struggling at the moment. As they now head into the final corner, all sliding there through the penultimate corner, and Jayville just trying to keep the pressure on Sohai TZ. MLSBR5 meanwhile extending his gap out front. Tiger cannot do anything about the top 2, and Weiss9 BRT cannot challenge Tiger himself. So Sohai TZ defending for his life from Jayville here in towards turn 4. Jayville's going to go for it down the inside, and he actually pushes Sohai TZ off a bit. And Sohai TZ is not going to be happy with that one. But here comes Kieran now in the Mercedes, going to get past both of them. It's going to be 3 wide down the straight. Here comes Sohai TZ. He's going round the outside, back around the outside of both. Jayville latest on the brakes, but he's gone too deep. Kieran gets the switchback, and Sohai TZ looking for the switchback on both. Jayville gets tapped by Kieran. Sohai TZ had to run off track there to get past Jayville, but now he's going to be attacking Kieran again in towards turn number 7, I believe. He's gone very early on the brakes, and Jayville's just sweeps back down the inside. So unfortunate for the AlphaTauri, whose good defense comes to a halt there. But it is Carlos in P10 right now for Aston Martin. His teammates running in P3, and it's MLSBR5 who has the fastest lap of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on lap 5 of 29 so far. Meanwhile, Berger in P2, what can he do to attack the AlphaTauri? Is now falling back into the clutches of Tiger. Tiger will know he's weak because ERS light is flashing. Nathan Wiedeberg is out of the session here. He's crashed at turn 3. Let's see where he's binned it. I presume, or he's lost it there in like middle of turn 2, turn 3, and that's going to bring out our first safety car of the night. So let's see who is going to possibly take a gamble and box for new tyres, and who will try and stay out and go long into the race. MLS BR5 at the front is into the pit lane. Will Berger follow him in? Yes, he does. So both the leaders into pit lane. Tiger, interestingly, stays out. We saw this work for him at Spain, staying out. Weiss9 BRT carries on. Kieran carries on. Jayville carries on. Sohai TZ obviously carries on. Sam Berg is going to box. Carlos will be the next one to make the decision. He stays out. Vetton is next. He stays out. Gareth into the pit lane here. Prems, who's recently bought some new hulls, so he will stay out as well. But it's Tiger who now leads the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix It's a position Tiger's been in before, leading on older tyres. It hasn't worked out too well for him in the past, but could this finally be the moment where he gets his first win in NRL? Of course, the owner driver, can he possibly take home the win here in Abu Dhabi? We'll have to wait and find out. Welcome to the stream, Natty. Unfortunately, yep, adverts are present, and interestingly, I didn't pay much attention to this, but LSBR5 has gone for the soft compound tyres, so he's committing to the 2-stop here in this race, and gonna try go aggressive. I mean, he does have the pace to pull it off. Actually looks like he's back into the pit lane, so did he make a mistake here with the tyres and meant to go into hards? This is going to cost him like every position, and he will drop to last in this race. Carlos is also into the pit lane, and yeah, MLSBR5 is into the pits for hards, so a strategic blunder there from the AlphaTauri, who's now down into last. Well, Carlos is also but so now down into P11 in this race from P1. I don't think he'll be too happy with that one, as he's now lost track position. So essentially the leader of the people that has boxed is Berger at 78 right now. That is crazy stuff, Matthew. It's really clever. Didn't know this one. But Vettel, I don't think he's boxed, and I'm not sure why, because he's not even ahead of Berger and he's on older tyres, so might as well just box, which is what Carlos did. But we'll have to wait and see how it pays off. Gareth also has gone for the soft, so he's committed to a 2-stop as well. We'll have to wait and see how that works out for him. It's clear MLSBR5 didn't want to do the 2-stop, he's immediately boxed for the hards, which he can now definitely take to the end, I'd assume. But Prems is spun under the safety car. Luckily, it doesn't look like he's picked up any front wing damage or rear wing damage, but he has, unfortunately for him, lost 2 positions, and the safety car is in this lap. So Tiger Assassin 99 will lead us away for the first safety car restart of this race. Let's see what the Aston Martin British driver can do as they now head towards lap 8 of 29. There's the safety car. Tiger's going to have to slow down a bit and pick the right moment to go, and he's going to hold it here. Y69 BRT is all over his diffuse. He's going to go here at the final corner. Can he get good release? Yes, he can. Off the final corner, pushes away from Y69 BRT, and the Frenchman cannot do anything to Tiger into turn 1. But could he possibly attack on the next straight? Vettel is running really wide at turn 1, and he's fallen down into last position in this race. Kieran is all over the back of Y69 BRT, could be looking for a move. Berger also could be looking for a move down the inside. So how TZ is going to go for it late on the brakes. Meanwhile, behind Gath has tried to go round the outside of Sunbert, and he's managed to just about keep it within track limits, but he's not been able to make the move. Berger cannot unfortunately make the move on Sohar TZ, so he's going to have to stick behind down the straight. Meanwhile, in front, that is Kieran, who's been overtaken by Javel somehow through all the chaos, looking for the move down the side. There's a big lock up behind. That is Carlos, who's off the track there in P12 now, and now Javel and Kieran are going at it through the turn 5, turn 6, and now into turn 7, which unfortunately Kieran has to stay behind as Javel just about gets around the outside, and that is at Y69 BRT, who spun around and then reset to track, so he will be disqualified from this race no matter where he finishes. So the Frenchman has ruined his night here in Abu Dhabi, but at the moment it's Tiger Assassin 99 who's had the perfect safety car restart, and fortunately for him, Javel having a moment out of the final corner. That's going to give Kieran the incentive to go down the inside and towards turn 1, and meanwhile behind Burglar is defending from Gareth for his life. So Javel now down into P3 behind Kieran after that mistake at the final corner. He will not be pleased with that mistake, as MLSBR5 has gone past Gareth, who's actually run wide on the exit of turn 3. So the man on the softs not really putting them to good use at the moment, but he does, as I say, that he does make his way past Sam Burke for P6, and MLSBR5 actually letting Gareth back past, and that's actually forced Sam Burke to go onto the grass to try overtake him, and MLSBR5 defending the position valiantly in towards turn 6, and fortunately for Sam Burke, he cannot make the move, but meanwhile Sohab TZ has managed to get past Javel, who's now been overtaken by everyone. He got overtaken by Kieran last lap, now Javel, and now now Sohab TZ, and now Burglar, but that is Kieran with a massive mistake. He's off the track, and looks like a lock up into that section. Tiger has crashed. Tiger has spun, mistakes everywhere. Gareth is also in the wall, and there's big chaos here, and the safety car is out, and Tiger, his race was going so well, and he spun now and ruined his chances at a win. Kieran was in P2, also spun, and Gareth, who was also in the top 5, has also spun. So a lot of spinners there in the same lap, and all that chaos has triggered a safety car here. So now Sohai TZ leads ahead of Javel and the MSBR5, who's managed to make his way all the way back up into P3 despite the pit stop which he had to despite the extra pit stop that he had to make in this race. But everyone that boxes, as Javel runs wide there, and everyone that boxes that has gone for a set of the house, so clearly trying to go to the end. As now the leaders are in. Sohab TZ and Javel are both in here, and this has promoted MSBR5 into the race lead. Burglar back into P2, and it's promoted Sam Burke onto the podium here. So Sohab TZ is going to go to mediums here. I don't know if he can make that to the end. 19 laps on the mediums. Well, it'll be like 17 or something, maybe 16 once we actually get racing. That's quite a far distance to go, but I think it should be possible. Javel has spot for the hards, so he will definitely be able to make it to the end, and he is in P8. So how TZ has managed to come out ahead of Kieran, and it's in P6. So MSBR5 in P1 ahead of Burglar 78 in P2. Sam Burke sits in P3. Prem's P4. Carlos in P5. P6 for Sohab TZ. Kieran in P7. Javel's P8. West9 BRT is in P9. Tiger is in P10. Gareth in P11. And Vettel, unfortunately, is last and on the soft, so he'll probably have to make another pit stop as well, which is quite unfortunate. But LSVR5 leads the race and leads the way here in Abu Dhabi once again. Safety car not in this lap, so I'll take this opportunity to run you through the driver standings at the moment so far. So in P1 is Jayville 17 with 60 points, had a massive lead after Spain after taking 2 wins on the trot, but unfortunately for him last week Imola didn't quite go to plan, and his title rival at the moment, Prem's Away, took a massive points haul from Imola, winning the feature race and also finishing on the podium in the sprint race. I mean, he took a whopping like 31 or 32 points. I mean, he closed the gap to Jayville right back up, and now the gap's only 58 points between the two. Only 2 points between the two drivers. Prem's on 58. Tiger is also in the championship battle there in P3 with 53 points, despite not having a race win to his name this season. Consistency has been the key for the British driver. Meanwhile, in P4 we have Vettel on 43 points, close followed by his teammate YC9 BLT with 36. Sam Burke's in P6 with 31 points, and Ejo UK is unfortunately not here with us tonight, is on 27 points in P7. Jean, also not with us tonight, is in 8th with 12 points. Gareth is in P9 with 10 points. Carlos in P10 with 10 points. Cha-Cha in P11 with 3 points, and no one else. All the other drivers I still yet score points, like Nathan V. de Burke, who's unfortunately DNF'd, so cannot change that record so far. But anyways, we're going back to green flag conditions, and MSBR5 will lead us away for a safety car restart this time. Let's see how he does on the restart. A good restart for the AlphaTauri, gets away nicely. Berger did not have the best jump. He could be under pressure from Sam Burke here in towards turn 1, but the AlphaTauri Alfa Romeo stays behind. And so how TC much later on the brakes than Carlos, and hitting him in the back. And Kieran has spun around at turn 1, then gone straight into the wall as Jayville has overtaken YC9 BLT for P6, P7. That's going to be Carlos getting overtaken by Soho TZ around the outside. There goes Soho TZ now up into P5 in this race. Kieran has left the session, unfortunately, as MSBR5 now has a gap of about 8 tenths to Bergler and 6 tenths to Sandberg. Prems could be under pressure from the medium tyre runner behind him, the only man on the mediums. Soho TZ coming out of turn 7. Soho TZ gets much better traction, and surely this is going to be the move done for the AlphaTauri. Yes, it is. He moves himself up into P4 and now back into the podium fight as he sets a purple sector 2, but runs a bit wide through turn 7, and that may give his rivals a bit of an advantage. But Vettel putting those sauce. Ooh, YC9 BRT way too late on the brakes. It's taken out. I thought that was Tiger Assassin, but it actually turns out to be Carlos. I think he might be slowing down to let Carlos back through, or he might just be into the pit lane, which yeah, he's into the pit lane. Carlos will not be too happy with that one. Welcome to the stream. Only one Luca Rosman, of course, supporting Jayville as normal. Unfortunately for the man who's taken 2 wins this season, doesn't look like he could be taking one today at the moment, but there's still plenty of time in this race for that to change, and he's currently in P5 sorry, in P6 behind Prem's in P5. He's witnessing this great battle for P3 and 4. YC9 BRT as we're tied in the pit lane, but Sohaib Tizi is making the move on Sam Burke for P4, and he's got it done in towards turn 5, and the man in the medium is on a mission. He's coming for Burglar and his teammate MLS BR5. He wants to win this race. Prems though will be looking at the back of Sam Burke and thinking he's going to be mine next, as the two tied P1 and P2 in championship at the moment. Prems and Jayville are now going to be on track together, and Prems makes a bit of a mistake which allows Jayville, the championship leader, to swoop down the inside and take P5 away from the Mercedes. You see is struggling here to find a good balance on the medium compound tyres, as he's sliding around a lot on this compound, so maybe his tyres are not quite up to full temperature, or he's just not got the best of setups. But anyways, we'll have to wait and see. MSVR5 though out front is doing exactly what he needs to do. The gap is 2 seconds to Burglar already, and that is a good gap to the McLaren, who's going to try and fight his teammate, who's probably MSBR5's biggest threat right now on the mediums, coming from behind. But meanwhile, the battle for P4 is heating up, because Jayville is now looking to get the move done on Sam Burke in towards turn 5. Goes a bit off track, but makes the move nice and clean around the outside. Sam Burke doesn't fight that one. He knows where his battles are at. But meanwhile, Gareth and Tiger are having a duel in towards turn 5. Gareth gets the better of the Mercedes driver. Meanwhile, Sam Burke could be attacking back, but no, it's actually going to be Veton who's making the moves here on Prems. Is Tiger going to go for it around the outside on Gareth here in towards turn 7? Gareth defends well, and through the long sweeping corner, Tiger Assassin cannot do anything. But meanwhile, Jayville's now up into the top 4 and making progress here in this race. MSBR5 who's lost a bit of time on this lap to the 2 cars behind him, as Sohaib TZ is now within the DRS range of Burglar, well, on the bubble of the DRS range of Burglar, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see a move pulled off by the AlphaTauri, but he's actually lost a bunch of time through turn 1, so we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, Sam Burke has had a bit of a problem coming out of turn 3, I believe, sorry, turn 4. It's going to be put him under pressure from Veton on the soft compound tyres. The Ferrari's going to go clean around the outside. No contest put up by Sam Burke. Actually, he does come back at Veton in the corner, but Veton just has superior tyres and superior pace at the moment. There's yellow flags in front, and that is because there's an incident between Gareth and Tiger here down at turn 5 and turn 6. The two drivers, the Welshman and the Englishman, have made contact of some sorts, and they've triggered a yellow flag and lost a bunch of time to those in front of them. Not sure if there is damage sustained for either driver, but we'll have to wait and see how this progresses during the race, as they could be in this lap. But Veton now, he's gone ahead of these guys, and now he's got to try and put those softs to use and try catch up to the leaders. Can he make the move here on MLSBR5, Burglar, or Sohaib TZ? Sohaib TZ, unfortunately for him, he's not got too much pace on these mediums, despite how he was cutting through the field earlier. And Sam Burke has managed to stay with Veton on this lap, and Veton's actually made a big mistake through turn 4, and then Sam Burke has tapped him, and that has caused Sam Burke to spin him round, and Veton now is spun round and could be under pressure from Prems 08. But Sam Burke stays in front down the straight, and Veton will be fuming there with that, with how that has played out. But could Tiger be the one to possibly go and attack him now, as he's still got Gareth in his DRS range. Meanwhile, at the front, we're kind of in a stalemate with all the leaders, but Sam Burke is going to be under pressure from Prems. But we have yellow flags, and that's because Gareth has spun and lost it, and he's left the session as well. So possibly a penalty coming his way. We'll wait and see. But this promotes Carlos into P9, and right behind his teammate now. But meanwhile, we have movement in the midfield because Veteran is in here for a set of the hard compound tyres. He's going to go to the end of the race and see what he can do on this compound. As now MLSVR5 leads the race from Berger, but Berger has closed in the gap a tiny bit here for the McLaren team. Unfortunately, he's used a lot of his ERS, so could be susceptible to the other AlphaTauri later in the race, not really making an indent, as much of an indent I thought he would have made on the leaders. Maybe the crossover is starting to be reached already and his tyres are starting to fall off, but Jayville is starting to look good now. He's starting to come into his own on the hard compound tyres, and he is now within the DRS range of Sohad TZ, and if he has a good sector 1, he can stay within it for the long straight, where we've seen many overtakes already today, but nothing really happening, no real battles on track apart from this Jable Sohad TZ battle and Sam Burke and Prems. But Sohad TZ has picked up a penalty. Only him, Prems and Gareth have penalties so far in this race, only 3 second time penalties. Let's see track limits. Jable has gotten DRS, but he is too far behind to launch an attack on the AlphaTauri in front of him, and same with Prems. So similar situations for both drivers there down straight, and Jable's actually somehow managed to fall out of DRS by the end of the straight. But Prems could now be looking at Sam Burke, but it doesn't look like he will be able to pull anything off into the braking zone of turn 7 and then the long sweeping left of turn 8. He's going to have to stick behind as Veteran now gets past Gareth's AI, moves up into P9. Berger's fallen off a bit on this lap, so it looks like MLSBR5 is just controlling the pace. And so TZ's made a very late call there to come into the pit lane and nearly crashed into the pit lane. Nearly crashed on the pit lane entrance there. And he's actually come in to retire the car, so not too sure why, but he will not be finishing the race here. So that's promoted Jable into the podium places, promoted Prems into the top 5, and now he will be on the back of Sam Burke as they attempt to battle for P4 and 5. But we have yellows in sector 1, sector 2, and that's because race leader MLSBR5 has spun here. MLSBR5 has spun, and all his good work has been undone. His lead that was looking so safe has been undone by spin. Carlos has also spun at the back there, and he's lost quite a bit of time. But MLSBR5 is going to have to go and try and get the win back by pushing even harder now. And even though he was controlling the race before, he's going to have to push like a stab the rat to try and get this race win. And this could inadvertently bring Jable into the fight as well, as Prems picked up a 3-second time penalty in the third sector there. So now him and Prems are both on 3-second time penalties, and will be equal in terms of penalties now, so neither will be at a deficit. But Bergler is now a race leader, but he's going to be under pressure from LSBR5. The problem is, for LSBR5, of course, he has no ERS or DRS, and as you can see here, Bergler's getting the DRS off the lapped car of Kieran, the AI car, so he's just pulling away and gaining more time. But MSBR5 is a quicker driver, but both have no ERS, and that is actually Prems trying to go for the move on Sam Burke towards turn 7 and turn 8. Unfortunately, nothing doing for the Mercedes. He has to stick behind Prems unfortunately has to stay behind, but Bergler 78 stays in front of LSBR5, and no real inroads made by the AlphaTauri, so he's gonna have to pick up the pace a bit here if he wants to win this race, which he should have done quite easily if it weren't for his mistake at turn 5, as there is Carlos at the back right now, excluding the two AI cars, in a world of his own, unfortunately, and no one really challenging him. He's not really challenging anyone. Same with Vettel as well, just getting the laps in, trying to get to the end. Tiger, same as those three as well, but I mean, Prems has fallen off a bit on Sam Burke this lap, so maybe he used too much of his tyres trying to go for the move on the previous lap, or maybe he just falling behind a bit to allow himself time to regain his composure. But meanwhile, at the front, the gap is now only around 1 second. MLSBR5 is on the fringe of DRS, and he could be in DRS range with a really good set to 1, and he's gained time through sector 3. He's gained time through sector 1, and he's now within the DRS. He set a personal best sector 1. This is going to get tasty here between Berger and MLSBR5, the two tier 3 drivers dueling it out here for victory in tier 2. Can MLSBR5 possibly do anything? No ERS for the for either driver, to be honest, and MLSBR5 though does have the DRS advantage. Javill will be spectating this, hoping for any sort of contact, any sort of mistake from any of the drivers in front, which could give him his 3rd win of the season. But at the moment, MLSBR5 needs to focus on getting close enough to make the move, and he's doing that through sector 3 here. He's actually run a bit wide here, and he's had to cut the corner. That could be a penalty or warning. Luckily looks like neither, but it's definitely lost him a lot of time there through that section. He was only about 2/10 off before the mistake, now about 7/10 off, but he will still get the aid of DRS as he is within 1 second. A bit twitchy on the rear end of the final corner, same with Javill, but thankfully no one putting it into the wall. Bergler 78 is going to be under all sort of pressure here on the final few laps of this race. Is now MSBR5. Can he get the exit? Can he attack Bergler There's a spin for Prems there in P5. He's now down to P6 in the Mercedes. Lucky he's not DNF from the session, but that has lost him the chance to attack Sam Burke. Bergler defends in towards turn 5 and turn 6. Nothing doing for the McLaren driver there. Sorry, nothing to do for the AlphaTauri drive there of MLS BR5. But now as they head down in towards turn 7, can he make the move around the outside of Berger 78? He goes for it, swooping around the outside. Berger leaves the space right up to the curb. This is brilliant racing, but MLS BR5 just about sneaks in front of the McLaren. Now Berger 78 is going to have to try and do all that he can to try and get back this race win. But there's a spin for Sam Burke. So this actually promoted Tiger into P4 due to misfortune for Sam Burke and Prems, who both spun on the old hard compound tyres. Bergler locking up into the braking zone of turn 5, could not make the move on MLS BR5, and down the straight does not have DRS, so that looks like it could be it for the end of this duel between these two drivers. Bergler is unfortunately cannot get into. Sam Burke has been overtaken by Prems here, and I wonder when he spun if he picked up some damage. Probably the most likely scenario, as he's now into the pit lane, so it looks like he definitely picked up some damage. Ooh, the second driver to nearly put it into the wall on the pit lane entry, but meanwhile MLS BR5 has gotten back his race lead, and he will not be challenged in this race as it stands, unless he were to make another mistake. But Sam Burke botts for new tyres, fixes the wing. I wonder if there's much point. I mean, just a few laps until the end. He probably could have stayed out and made it, but it doesn't matter, because he does have the fresher tyres. But now he's 13 seconds behind Vettel in P6, so essentially lost the position for nothing, in my opinion. And Jabil has got more ERS than the McLaren in front of him, so could possibly attack him in towards turn 5 or on the next few laps if he can get within DRS range. But Jabil getting close to winning DRS range. No other battles on track as of right now. Only the possibility of this battle for P2 and P3 between Javel and Berger. But race leader MLS BR5 now leads by 1.6 seconds, gap from Javel to Berger's 1.6. So even though the Red Bull driver is pushing his hardest, he's not able to make any inroads on Berger in front. But in terms of the championship, this will be a good day for the championship leader P3. He's ahead of his two main rivals, Tiger Assassin and Prems, who are both her in P4 and P5 respectively. He'll gain 5 points on Prems and extend his gap to 7 points in championship lead, and he'll gain 3 on Tiger and extend his gap to Tiger to 10 points as well. So actually wait, yes, 10 points to Tiger. So Tiger gaining a bit on Prem, so he will be overall happy with this weekend. Of course, he would have wanted more coming into the race weekend, but it is MLS BR5 in front at the top dog here in Abu Dhabi at the moment. Can he hold on for one more lap here of the Yas Marina track, Yas Marina street circuit track? No, the Yas Marina track is just what it's called. I don't know why I said street circuit. But Tiger Assassin has picked up a 3-second time penalty in P4. Vetton is getting closed in rapidly by Sam Burke, but it will not matter because Sam Burke has a penalty anyway, so won't be able to challenge. But we're now into the final lap of this Grand Prix. Carlos is boxed for the softs to go fast lap, I presume. But LSBR5 cannot do anything to challenge Berger and cannot do anything. Well, everyone in the top 3 has no ERS essentially, so it's all neutralized here on the final lap. No DRS, no ERS for either of the top 3 drivers. Amazing stint by MSBR5 and Berger 78 on these 23 lap old hards, and despite Javel's tyres being a bit younger, 5 laps younger than Berger, 4 laps younger than race leader MSBR5, he cannot do anything to challenge these two who reigned supreme tonight at the top. In qualifying they led the pack, in the race they've led the pack, and it's going to end LSBR5 in P1, Berger definitely in P2 because Jay will just pick up this time penalty. But LSBR5 will cross the line to win in Abu Dhabi. What a performance! And it's Berger 78 who finishes in P2. The fireworks are off. Jayville in P3. He'll be happy. That keeps him. That extends his gap in the championship lead. Will be Tiger Assassin to cross the line next. He'll gain on P2 in the championship Prems, so he'll be happy with this result as well. Prems will definitely be the least happy of the top 3 of how this race is finished, but P5 is still a decent result for the Mercedes driver who nurses the Mercedes home. And look how much Sam Burke is closing here on Vetton. We could have a grandstand finish between these two. Prem crosses the line in P5. Could Sam Burke possibly get Vetton on the line here? Because Vetton is moving so slowly here through the final 2 corners. Is Sam going to go for the dive into the final corner? He's going to go for it, and unfortunately just about can't make it work. So Vetton will take P6. Sam finishes in P7. Carlos will cross the line in P8 and finish off the grid. Finish off the race for tonight. Gareth's AI will finish 9th, but he will not get points because it's an AI car. Neither will Kieran, whose AI car finished 10th. And then Weiss9 BRT got disqualified in session for his resetting to track, but he DNF'd anyway, so that is not relevant. But it is MLS BR5 who's victorious here in Abu Dhabi. What a Grand Prix by the MLS BR5, by the AlphaTauri driver. I'm sure he will be proud with this one. But there is our race winner. What a performance by the AlphaTauri man, who takes his first win in Tier 2 this season. So congratulations to him. Good job there from the AlphaTauri guy. Berger threw everything at it, but just ultimately it wasn't enough for the McLaren by the McLaren driver, and he actually finished in P2. And Jayville, championship leader, takes another podium and adds that to his tally. So a good race for him. We're running through the final race results. MSBR5 in P1, Berger in P2. Only about 8 tenths off. Jayville finishes P3 for Red Bull. It's Tiger Assassin in P4, Prems in P5 for Mercedes, Vettel in P6, Sam Burke finishes in P7, then it's Carlos P8, then the non-finishers / no points getters. Gareth and Kieran, both cars were AI, so neither of them will get any points. So High TZ, West 9 BRT, and Nathan Wiedebeck were all the DNFEs from tonight's race, and of course myself, because I forgot to put myself in spectate mode. But anyways, that is it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream, and hopefully you tune in tomorrow for PlayStation Tier 3. Who will also be racing around Abu Dhabi. Thank you and goodbye.